Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for August 4th through 11th, 2025. Well, we have had a very intense weekend that we're recovering from, with Venus having moved over into Cancer in exact square to Saturn and Neptune. It is so powerful that Saturn and Neptune have been inching their way closer together into exact conjunction over this whole year. And then the moment, literally, the day they make it into exact conjunction, Venus comes into the mix. So this is really important information for us. Saturn and Neptune in exact conjunction at 1 degree of Aries. So Venus has just been in square to them in Cancer, and Mars is going to be coming into an opposition. So this is everything, and Saturn and Neptune will be close for the rest of the year. But for this period of time right now, from the 1st to the 16th, of August, they're at 1 degree of Aries. So let's talk this through, because Saturn takes about 2.5 years to get through a sign, and Saturn is our timekeeper. It's the planet that is known as the last easily visible planet without a telescope, meaning it represents the laws and rules of physical reality, the boundary between this world and anything else. And so Saturn has come to be representative of the structures of our reality and time and all of it. So now, then we have kind of come to an understanding that this Saturn was absconded, taken over by evil forces, and then the concept, the matrix, the formation of the physical reality was then used as a trap for humanity to keep them from moving forward in their spiritual ascension. So we are claiming back Saturn, we're claiming back our time, we're claiming back our relationship to time, our relationship to physical form. And so that's the energy of Saturn. So Saturn at 1 degree Aries is the aha, the realization, the everything that's in the one. It's conception, the moment of rebirth, where you're whole and complete. So it has the picture of the I am consciousness, the true potential for humans, the true spiritual potential. So this I am, power, excitement, energy of 1 degree Aries, that's what's informing our new timeline. And so then we've got this exact conjunction with Neptune. Now, when planets come into conjunction, they're hanging out and talking to each other until they're in exact conjunction, and then they become like meld into one energy. And that's the powerful time and moment that we're in. So please remember, everything is trying to keep us in lower vibrational frequencies and distracting us into constant drama. And we have to bring ourselves back as quickly, as peacefully, and as often as possible to this feeling of being whole and complete, loved and held and cared for, because we are creating new earth in these moments. That's what this astrology is saying. And so we have to be there, and it's really intense right now because most people are infected with the negativity and they just want to bring the energy down. And we have to be vigilant. We have to be a little militant, like in our commitment and our devotion to the higher frequency vibration, because we have to be what we want to create. And supernova souls, the whole thing is that this whole control mechanism reality has been about keeping you from being who you are and being in your potential and being a co-creator, right? So in order for us to take back our world and freedom, we have to come back into our co-creative powers. So that's everything the astrology is saying. So it's a new timeline, brand new, with the original vision of what humanity wants to become. Then Neptune brings the original vision of what Earth wants to become. Neptune is the dreams, the visions, the raw materials, all possibilities, but also the delusions that have kept us trapped from the magic, right? So using structured religion, to keep people in fear and scarcity and from ever finding that true spiritual connection. But everything's saying right now, our job, supernova souls, is to bring them back to her, to bring them back to love, to bring them back to connection. And so we need to do this in every interaction, in every situation. And we need lots and lots of patience right now, because what's happening is a bloom of negative entity, dark distortion energies, the attacking energies working through people's field. And it's really hard because supernova souls, we have been through so much. And yet it has made you invincible. And this is what we're finding. It's like we had to be pushed to the point where we just absolutely forced into our full power. And then that's where we are right now, realizing that, yeah, go ahead and all this stuff can bloom, but less and less it's affecting you because of the power that's grown within you, because of what you've gone through, because of what you've earned on a spiritual level over lifetimes. And it's so beautiful to experience these levels of attack and whatever might come at us, but hold our center through it. Then we win. So this is where we need to understand, really important message from Mom. She says, please remember, this is a healing crisis. What you're seeing bloom, the darkness, the entities, the bullying, the control forces, it's been here the whole time. This distortions, now it's showing itself. Okay? It's being exposed. It's a good thing. And it's just like disease in the body. Once it's exposed, it has to leave the body. And then you have symptoms showing that it's leaving the body. And so if we can help remind ourselves of this, that on the one hand, yes, there's a bloom of this crazy stuff, people acting totally crazy. On the other hand, it's affecting us less and less. And so what does it matter? Because she also wants us to know, she says, it's a healing crisis. So it's not that people are getting sicker and we need to get more scared of these energies, right? Because there is a certain number or a group of supernova souls that I can talk to right now, that have gone through so much that you're not scared of the bullies. You're not scared. Somebody wants to come and bully you, to attack you, to come at you in whatever way that is destructive. It's just not going to move the needle of your, you just don't have time for that bullshit anymore. And if we did not have you right now to be fearless in the face of these demonic forces that actually have no power, I don't know where we'd be. See, what we're finding right now is that the control forces that are trying to control us and control our power and have power over us actually don't have any power. They actually don't have any power. And it's like all this crap out there, all these people spewing things, misleading us, taking us down these pathways of constant deception. And right now, this astrology is saying, people are saying, where is the substance behind the paper money? Where is the actual gift behind the so-called Hollywood beauty? Where is the substance of what you want to bring to us if you want us to follow you as leaders? Show me the money, right? And so we're getting to the point of it's like, so once the bullying no longer works on a certain segment of the population, then we walk forward out of the gates of that Stockholm syndrome, right? Because there's nothing they can do to you. Now, it's really weird because there's a bloom of this energy of this targeting and attack and harassment. I'm going to say, this is something that Mother's saying too. You're so used to harassment, you got used to it. You don't even notice you're being harassed all the time because you're just so used to it. You just expect it and it's normal and you're not fazed by it. That's great. But she says, we've got to remove that vibration from your field. You got to take that cloak off. We can't keep creating harassment. It's like we have to be in this full power. And that's the other message I was saying. I love it when I can come back around. That she really wants us to know that if we are choosing to come back into this full alignment with her, where we've been, where we've come from, as her children, as her emissaries, her earth stewards, if we're going to come back into full alignment with her organic original vision of what earth wants to become, then it gives us a certain authority. The first place to work with this authority is in our own body, in our own field, of course. But then our body and our field can extend out to affect the energies around us, in that we no longer need to play victim or be affected on any level by the play of those energies. That you and your authority and alignment with Mother, and just through your intention, your love, and your breathing, can neutralize and harmonize anything around you. And that if they're going to be in your field, you have authority to invite a different energy into their field, a different possibility, right? So your organic connection to Earth is trumps AI, agendas, nanobots, frequencies, vibrations, all of that, the technological influences. Now, this is what's coming. We've always had weird entity attachment stuff. So we've been dealing with from the beginning of the takeover of Earth, thousands of years ago. But we have not had this technological interference in our physical bodies, which has been actually going on for longer than we know, but on a mass scale over the last 5-6 years. And so this technological interference is a great wrong. It's an absolute affront to supernova souls who have devoted their lives and lifetimes to the work of the Mother, to creating the most perfect physical vessel and vehicle to host the Christ consciousness, or the light of spirit. So this technological interference, I've realized, and I've been shown again and again lately, is a gateway for those same old entities we've been battling with, right? And maybe it's a combination with CERN and the energy frequencies, whatever, trying to open gate. They've taken over our Stargate portals, and they want to bring dark entities through. But we have the bodies. We are the original Earth stewards. And so we have the power and we have the authority, and we're taking it back. But a lot of times before you're going to make a big shift, we've all had this time where it's time to quit your job. It's time to leave the relationship. It's time to move on from the town or the family or whatever you need to do. Not an easy decision, but it's time. And that you have to get a little bit angry and self-righteous. There needs to be a situation where you can activate that fire and power. So she says, this is what's happening around you with the bloom of opposing harassment forces. We got to be like, thank you. Yeah, giving me more fuel for my power and for the agenda of Mother, right? Because we want to talk through the mechanics of the opposition. And because Mars is now coming into, now we talked about Venus this last weekend, intense, and it was psycho twisted, distorted feminine energies and masculine, but it's like just Venus freaking out about not being heard, not having a voice, and then the delusions of Neptune and Saturn trying to sort through what's reality and delusion, and it's just a complete emotional mess. And yet, massive clarity, massive healing, exorcism of these demons out of our lives. Like, no, we're not going to vibrate at that frequency. So it's so incredibly powerful. But now we remember we had Mars and Venus square. So it's been a lot of intense squares. And so then Venus coming into the square as a challenge, she moves over into Cancer, where she just wants to be sweet and held and loved and nurtured and comfy. And it's like in the square with Saturn and Neptune, a showdown, right? Like, girl, what do you got for the timeline? What are you going to do to fight for the timeline? What do you bring to the table? And are you healed? Are you whole? Are you in balance? Can we really? So what's happening with this last square we felt this weekend was the feminine trying to inform, the divine feminine in alignment with Mother trying to inform the timeline, saying, no, this is. And the energy around that is, it's the Mother's way or the highway. It's like we want the ultimate ideal timeline for Earth and the potential. Mother's way is the only way. And so we all have to come back to this place. And aren't you grateful you're here? Can you bask in the abundance, this manna from heaven that's coming to those of us who can open our eyes and our ears and our mouths to sing this song and to receive this overflowing cup of love, you know? And so that's where it's like we have to be really careful of the forces always wanting to bring us down into negativity, into drama, into, and just kind of be like, okay, they're on full throttle right now to try to lower the vibration of the highest vibration to the lowest vibration as quick as they can. But they can't keep up with all of us. And so now we take back our power. Right? So this is the shift we've been waiting for in this, because we've got Mercury turning direct this week on the 11th. And so a week from today, and Mercury is in Leo, retrograding back to 4 degrees. Mercury is at 6 degrees right now and will go to 4 degrees. So Mercury is entering into his second pass over this strange window, gosh, between 4 and 6 degrees of Leo. And so, of course, all the fire signs and all the fixed signs really getting activated at this 4 to 6 degree mark, because Mars went to 6 degrees Leo and turned retrograde. Mercury went to 15 degrees Leo, and then retrograding back to 4 degrees. So their retrograde thing that they went over, the 3 plate times going over the same place, overlaps 2 degrees. And so this is the other thing. Now Mars is moving into Libra on the 7th. And that's a huge shift and coming into opposition with Saturn and Neptune. And so, but the Libra energy is this collaboration. And so Mercury in Leo is a continuation of the chapter of Mars in Leo, retrograde in Leo, all about what is in the way of shining your light. What is in the way of shining your light? What is in the way of coming into our potential, of understanding who we are, to stepping forward unapologetically in our confidence? That those forces of dissent and argument and attack and harassment just can't even come anywhere near the sacred temple vibration that is in your field. And so it's strange. So this, now we know Mercury retrograde in Leo is like the next piece of the puzzle of why we haven't been able to come forward in expressing our light in the world. And we're talking to supernovas here. We're talking about the reluctant leaders, the leadership ability, the visionary leaders, like being called forward. Why have you not been able to step into your potential? We all know there's this huge, bigger, more thing that everybody around us has been invalidating, but it's only getting bigger and more real for us. But why can't we take that leap, and move over into this confident expression of our light? Now that has to do with Mercury in square to Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. So Black Moon Lilith is our deepest, darkest secrets, often having to do with sexuality, the feminine. And so in Scorpio, we're talking about a deep dive into the deep secrets that may be in square to Mercury in Leo, is saying that may be holding us back from confidently expressing our truth and our spiritual light. Mercury spent the whole month of July in square to Black Moon Lilith. Now that's just completed, but now the Sun and Mercury came together last week, and so now the Sun is moving into, so Mercury's retrograde in Leo, and the Sun's going forward in Leo. They pass like ships in the night. Mercury just coming out of square with Black Moon Lilith, the Sun moving into square with Black Moon Lilith. So Sun square Black Moon Lilith is on the 7th, and we'll be feeling that through the 11th, which is the day that Mercury turns direct. So it's all of this energy is coming to the foreground, because as soon as Mercury turns direct, Mercury's going to be heading back into his 3rd and final square with Black Moon Lilith. So it's like a whole nother month of squares with Black Moon Lilith, because we got to get to the nitty gritty darkness, right? The energies of attack and harassment and bullying and what we're talking about going on right now can only happen if we're still harboring fear, hesitancy, or shame around our power. And it's showing us. That's where we're going to get the scalar wave. Because going back to talking through the mechanics of the opposition, because this Mars opposite Saturn Neptune is so powerful because it's the axis of a kite. So we got this intensity of the opposition, which would normally be really frustrating. Mars is always frustrated, and then especially frustrated in squares and oppositions. But in this case, it's the axis of a kite. And so it's about taking that tension and rising up into a new level of reality, using it as fuel. And so this is this shift we're going through between the factions in our world that have been programmed to fight against each other. You know, masculine, feminine, black, white, Republican, Democrat, whatever. We're realizing that we were duped into a divide and conquer agenda. And by power control hungry, power grubbing, bullies who have actually no power, right? So get us to fight each other so they can steal our energy. And so now these factions are saying, wait a minute. I don't know if it's Republican, Democrat, men, women, all, whatever. Like, I don't know if that's really the story, because we're talking humanity, humans. We are all one, and we are so much more powerful than any machine or agenda. And we take back our power now, but we can only do it if we learn how to work together, right? So this is this collaboration. And I think it's in the energy, just the meditation of this energy of opposition, that in astrology and the planets come into opposition. It's tension, 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 tension. They're on the opposite side of the zodiac, meaning Earth is influences in the middle of that, right? And so this energy of opposition, then when they're exactly opposite, there's this mutual learning, receptivity, and power released. So this is what we've got to do with the masculine and the feminine and the right and the left and all these different factions. Realize, like, wait a minute, we want to join our power against the common enemy, the one that wants to control humanity through our power that they stole from us. And so this is such an incredibly powerful moment. And in your life, let that opposition come. Thank it, appreciate it, love it, and say, give it to me as fuel, because I am the scalar wave. And I am the Aries, Saturn, Neptune conjunction, the true human potential birthed again in our world. The dream, the original dream of Mother Earth as an ascension planet, melded back, written back in to our reality. And that's what we're doing, supernovas. And that's why you're such a rock star. And that's why you deserve to feel good and be abundant. And we know we're reprogramming right now, and it's such a powerful time of reprogramming. We've been told, that was our message last week, like, hey, the whole computer thing, AI, it's like, because it's all a program. Program yourself back to her, back to me, back to alignment. Program your body, your cells, everything. I walk in my abundance. I'm surrounded by support and love. I'm held in the mother's arms. I'm like confident, co-creator in perfect alignment, and just as much time as you can devote to these new messages of new earth, of this new thing we're birthing. So that the understanding the mechanisms of the opposition is so important to get the energy that's available from that opposition. And so because Mars is heading into Libra on the 7th, and so that's also the day of the exact sun square Black Moon Lilith. So these are telling us, so the sun is who we are in Leo, who we are in the more potential visionary leaders. As for supernova souls, it's like, why are you not being the visionary leader you're here to be? And then in square to Black Moon Lilith, the dark secrets, the lies, the distortions that have kept us deliberately from coming into that potential. So it is a showdown, face down energy. And so on that same day, to have Mars move into Libra, it's saying the fight, though, is through collaboration. And it is a fight. It's so difficult in these times to sit and just have a rational conversation about anything real. Oh my gosh. So it's our biggest challenge, collaboration. That's what Mars moving into Libra is saying. Because remember, the leadership energy we need, the visionary leadership energy, is between 4 and 6 degrees of Leo, 2 degrees apart of coming into the light. We have to work together. And this is like, we got to get our act together and pull our heads out of our ass with the masculine and the feminine, because it's just this constant battle of power and energy. And that's so much power and energy we could use to feel really good, to generate real power, generate healing and miracles for our communities, to be and access that full power. So this is what we're learning with the Mars kite, because Mars is our warrior. Mars is our masculine. He's ready to fight. He's ready to go. He's ready to move, especially moving into Libra because it's a cardinal sign. They're the starters. So we're talking about a new start in collaboration and relationships in order to come into our true power as supernova souls, And then what happens is that Mars comes into this opposition and also into a grand air trine. So that's the body of this kite that's being formed in the sky. At the top of the kite, Saturn and Neptune, right? So that melding back the dream back into our reality, the original dream into our current reality. Venus and square just informed the timeline. We got to do it the mother's way. And so now that Venus had her say in this square to Saturn and Neptune, informing the new dream, in that the mother's way is the only way. And now Mars comes into an opposition. So that's what's forming the kite. And the kite is like a Charlie Brown kite, and at the very top of the kite, the point of the top, is where we're heading. And in this case, it's that Saturn Neptune conjunction, 1 degree Aries. It's so epic, like I said, that Venus came into square with them on the day they finally came into an exact conjunction, Saturn and Neptune at 1 degree Aries. While they're in this 1 degree conjunction, Mars opposes them. So both our masculine and our feminine are interacting. Their role, their information and understanding coming forward and to birth this new timeline. So Mars is like, whoa, he's really got it going on here, because he's ready for some dynamic action as in a kite. A kite is about, in a birth chart, if you have a kite, it's about taking different parts of yourself, divergent parts of yourself from past lives, what you haven't been able to integrate. So, it could be trauma stories or different skills and gifts that you haven't been able to put together. But in this incarnation, you decided to bring it all together, because a kite is about integrating all these parts, taking that opposition and harmonizing it, and using in this case, especially with the air trine for the body of the kite, lifting up, right? So the kite has an energy of lifting up, but also twist in a new direction. The direction that this kite is heading is into this. We have to birth the original potential of humanity, the I am magic, back into our world and our reality. So that's where the kite's going. Then the base of the kite is Mars and Libra. And Mars and Libra is saying we got to fight for collaboration. We got to go to war in order to find peace, so we can collaborate with the enemy that we're at war with. And this might be the most beautiful gift that supernova souls have, is to bring people around, from the fighting to the love. And we've been called to do this, and it takes a lot of power. And I keep something that's been helping me lately is I saw this study on, they were studying the energy of different emotions and giving them a signature to track and measure as with a level of power. And they found that way more powerful than love itself is the emotion or energy that they would define as authenticity. And so we need to remember this. We've been trying to come with love, love people through it, love the enemy, love, and could we join that love with the authenticity of that we've earned and developed on a soul level over lifetimes? It's landing home. You've already done the work. You already earned this inheritance, and nothing can stop it from landing. You are going to get more and more badass, confident, and beautiful as you walk in the world. Not, this is the only way things can go. And so, can we say, okay, now then? Okay, now I receive. Mom, I'm ready to receive the blessings of my inheritance, the manna that comes from my spiritual work I've done over lifetimes and integrating all these incredible gifts together and lifting up with that air trine kite into the new Renaissance. Because we've got Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, Mars in Libra. Oh, it's so powerful. These planets are so powerful. And in an air trine kite, it's so beautiful because the air trine is speaking of this new renaissance. Like just like the kite is putting divergent parts of ourselves back together, the the new renaissance is about putting back to parts together of ourselves into wholeness, our society, putting back nature and religion and science and spirit and art and intellectualism. We don't create anything that's not beautiful anymore because we're doing it her way. And this is the energy of so this kite shape is really the beginning of the new renaissance. And the kite shape with Mars in the kite that we're starting to feel right now. Yes, we start to feel it today on the 4th. That will go through the 16th. That's exactly the same time as that Saturn exact conjunction of Neptune at 1 degree. So it's can we focus on this, birthing the whole human? We're rebirthing Earth so we can have whole humans into our full potential, the I am consciousness, the full, what humanity is here, the original dream of Earth as an ascension planet to support humanity and the Earth ascension, moving with humanity through ascension and into new levels of reality. This has been held back artificially through control mechanisms for far too long. And so this kite says, and it's kind of cool, the kite energy of that lifting up and twisting, because it's kind of stealth. It's got an energy of and this is kind of what we need to do. The lower play of energies, once they get going at you, a lot of times they get so frantic, and the more you love them through it, the more they're going to get angry at you. And you can kind of guide them onto the next thing they can go worry about over there and lift up. And while they're not looking, go shoot off in your spaceship. This is what we have. We have a spaceship. Our energy field is a Merkaba light body. We can exist without a body in our light body. This is what they don't want us to know. And all the advanced technology stuff we talk about that's available in our own field, that's what we're talking about. And I go into this specifically, step by step, with all the work I've done over this so many years and lifetimes in the owning your energetic field. It leads up to sovereign autonomy, which is your light body. You are in your own universe. And that's where when mom says you have authority around for the energies around you, that's when you have authority of the energies around you. And because you're in alignment. You can't have your light body on if you're not in alignment with Earth. That's the requirement, the very first requirement, why we do that every time we meditate in this work, And so connecting with Mother Earth allows us to activate, to fly, in our light body. And so in that alignment with Mother Earth and our light body on, we know that we're in alignment with Mother Earth, and then we have that authority that the organic form within you can come into alignment with her. And a blessing and an invitation and for miracles, for the energies around you and the bodies around you to come into alignment. You're the walking miracle. This is who we are and what we're doing, and we better shape up and get together and start acting like it, right? Stop taking this abuse from the bullies, standing up for what's right and good and true. Being her emissaries once again, walking forward in joy and celebration. We're not scared of you. Now that we know our power, we've already won, you know? So it's time to step forward in that. So the kite shape is going to happen again in September and then in October. And right around the middle of the month in September, it will be Mercury coming into Libra, making the kite formation. And then in October, Venus. So this is first Mars, then Mercury, then Venus. And so Mars is our will force, Mercury our mind, Venus our heart, all coming into alignment, putting the pieces back together and lifting up into a whole new reality and possibilities. So that's a really important energy for us to focus on, and it starts today officially. The Mars kite through the 16th, these first couple weeks of August, so important to align. You don't have to know what it is. You can feel the alignment. You don't have to know what your life looks like in alignment. You just have to feel the energy of alignment, and then it comes. And this is the energy with New Earth, right? We're co-creating it first in our field. So that's also our light body. It's also Christ consciousness, incarnating our higher, bigger self. All these things are the same thing. And so we're claiming this sovereign autonomy and this power and our co-creative power. And like that's everything that how we got in this whole story was the blocking of that power and technology. And now we step into it. We have no choice. And unapologetically and with total confidence. And just quickly overcoming fears and insecurities and programming. You know, part of the reason this astrology is saying that you have not been able to step into your light is because you haven't been able to collaborate. You haven't been able to have anybody around you that really wants you to shine and flourish. You need your tribe. You need your soul, SuperNova soul tribe that's like, yeah, baby, turn on your light. I want to see it because you're helping me turn on my light. You know, we've got to really, really seek out true support team because what's happening, the wheat from the chaff, it's getting really obvious. Self-serving, service to others. And I'm seeing a lot of supernova souls being completely surrounded by self-serving people who are trying to justify still having access to your power that they never actually had justifiable access to. So they're just throwing a fit, you know? And it's this whole thing where it's like, all these power-hungry control forces, they'd never act like that. The bullies wouldn't need to bully if they had the power themselves, right? And that's where you say, we're like, no more control tactics and power tactics. Like, we are the owners of the power. We take it back. That autonomous sovereign field means we're not feeding. We're not going to be a food source for their agendas. And one by one, supernova souls are cutting off and taking that autonomy, that owning your energetic field and saying, no, this energy is for mother's work alone. My higher self, which is also in alignment with mother. So this is what we're doing. And it's just happening. At this point, it's really not useful to be like, what do I need to do? You know, it's like, what do you need to be? How can I help myself align? How can I take care of myself? You know, it's like, it's happening and we can't stop it. So now we have to deal with the rapid changes, the fear programming, the ego death. Because the thing is that our ego constructs of these belief systems say like, I know this is true. And then on the other side, they say, no, I know this is true. And your news is wrong. And your news is wrong. And it's like, no, you guys have totally separate realities. And maybe we could just stop and talk about it a little bit, have that mutual reciprocity, learn from each other. In order to come across the battlefield, across the battle lines, together into collaboration, there would be required, it seems, at some point to have to say, oh, I was wrong. I understood it miscorrectly. I'm sorry. If we can't do that, then we're never going to get anywhere. And so it's this ego death with Mars, in this placement of just like all the false agendas are being exposed. So anyone in your life that's not there for you, your heart, soul, spirit, it's going to be very, very clear. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to sort through it anymore. Giving full permission to move on because they cannot handle your frequency vibration. You've crossed a threshold that the minions in your life that have been harassing you, that's still going to happen, but it's just not going to affect you so much. It's like, oh, it's a huge bloom in the world, but I don't know, I can just watch them squirm over there and not have to get involved. Because energy, attention is energy. And so we've got to bring it back to this new earth that we are creating in our field first. Because first it's energy, then it's manifest. Walk in the abundance of new earth, own it, feel it, love it. Just be open to whatever you need to do to have a better vibrational frequency, a better attitude, a better outlook, more love, more hope, more truth, more just like it's just this time to be like, just because the aggression that comes from Mars transits like this is actually really useful for us right now, but it's be careful driving. When it's the Mars opposition is exact. Let's see. I have it in here somewhere. um, that is from, like I said, we'll feel it from the 4th to the 16th, but it's exact around the 9th and 10th. And so we're building up to this energy, which is also the Aquarius full moon on the 9th, 10th, depending on where in the world you are. So right for this Aquarius full moon, we're going to be feeling the quintessential tension of this demand for collaboration in peaceful way in order to birth new earth and our own energy field. And so the Aquarius full moon happens on August 9th, 10th. It's at 17 degrees Aquarius. Exactly. And 17 is such a powerful number because it's got the 1, the wholeness, the 7, which is Christ consciousness. 1 and 7 together is 8, which is transformation. So it's transforming our identity, our wholeness into Christ consciousness, becoming whole. And so at 17 degrees Aquarius, it's saying this is the Aquarian age. We got to become whole humans, sovereign humans. We're not going to fall for any agendas. We're not going to be bullied. We're not going to hand over our energy and our power and our advanced technologies. Just not going to do it. No more. So that means that the activation will be on Friday, August 8th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And so we will have an opportunity to really set a great space for that Aquarius full moon because the dynamic change of this full moon is so intense because we've got that Mars opposition with Saturn and Neptune right there exact. And then on the 11th, Mercury turning direct. So we have to understand this. Like this Mercury retrograde has been so different than other Mercury retrogrades. It's like people are getting more done than they've gotten done all year long. And it's like, does this mean that the fire, the life force is coming back to us? Because that's the other thing about the nanotech and the infiltration in our physical bodies. It's literally farming our calcium channels, right? Because the definition of artificial intelligence, artificial life, is it looks like life, but it doesn't have life, which means it needs an external power source. Means our controllers have not been human, don't have access to human power that's available as the authority we are in the body. That's what the Casey and Edgar Casey reading said. You have the body, true human soul in a body. You have the authority. It's exciting to think about coming together and walking forward in the world, exercising this authority, which is just a rippling out of miracles and healing, happening all on its own, no ramification. So this is what we're healing right now with Saturn and Neptune together is the Piscean age too, all the distortions of the Piscean age, where the light, the healing, the love, the nurturing was called wrong and bad. The witches burned at the stake the energy of the persecution of the healers, the persecution of the shamans, the religious control that demonized true spirit. So, what's happening in the bloom of energies coming at us right now of harassment is this anger at what we have in our spiritual light. And that the programming is just going full throttle, and they're like, my job is to make it hard for you, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it hard for you because it's my job. I'm programmed to go after your light and make it bad and wrong and make everybody hate you and smear campaign and turn everybody against you, right? Like, we know these stories, and it is so scary when you have to replay them. It's just pure terror. And yet you have gotten so strong and such a badass. You might need to have that opportunity to know what a badass you are and how much you're not giving away your energy anymore. And that you could give a flying about whether they understand, see you as who you are, see you as a good person or as a bad person. You just don't care because you know who you are now. And you're loving it and you're living it and you're stepping into that true inheritance, the abundance that's your birthright. Because as a supernova soul, you've already experienced these advanced technological states in a body on Earth. They cannot take it from us. They can't tell us it's not ours. They can't tell us we don't know how to use it. They try to tell us that we will cause destruction. Now that we've unpacked the lies of the Atlantean time, the last Aquarian age, not buying it. That was your destruction. We took the blame, and we are no longer going to be team scapegoat anymore. You know, do you notice this when the attacks come? It's always blaming you for somebody else's garbage. And we're just been like garbage collectors. Fine, abuse me some more. I'm just so used to it. And the mom says, no, no, take that layer off. Take that layer off so that next time it happens, the phoenix of the mist of the mother power and truth and authenticity and love blooms within you. And this incredible power and mirage, you know, because these attackers probably have no idea what they're doing. They're not even real people, or they're just programmed, right? But if they are real actual people and they're treating you this way, they're going to be feeling quite uncomfortable and sheepish when they realize who you are. And so it's our time. We are the 1%, and we are the stewards of Earth. All the resources, that authority I'm talking about, you and your light body, means all her resources are yours. If you can turn your light on, you have access to all her resources, as well as her ability to dematerialize and rematerialize any situation, any problem, any disease. Are you ready to step into this miracle? Because when you turn on the miracle power, you cannot turn it off. And people will react to you until you get it established at a vibration that you're comfortable, that can ward off, you know. The frequencies are our protection. They've been attacking us with frequencies. And ironically, that's how we've have protect ourselves and our tribes throughout time, is through frequencies, song, music, dance. And this is the new Renaissance energy, right? Of like, okay, now we're coming together, collaboration. We're going to talk about it. We're going to try to see the other side of the story. We're going to let that ego die, realize that we all really want the same thing in the end, and let's get going on it, because those forces that keep messing with us do not want the same thing. They are not like us. And that's what we are going through right now, where it's like we have to stop trying to appease or bring peace or make anybody happy or convince people we're good or bad or anything right or wrong or any beliefs about us. You know, it's just none of our concern. And we just completely own this potential and start enjoying ourselves as we come together and grow it. So I'm so excited to announce SuperNova Water Festival happening September 19th through 22nd, 2025 in Hot Springs, Montana. And there's more information to find out about that below. A 3-day retreat for rest and rejuvenation. And that's also going to include a one-day water festival where we can really do it, what she's been asking us to do, to come together, these power centers. This water, the hot water in Hot Springs, Montana, is some of the highest mineral content in the world. And so to come and be with these primary waters coming right out of the ground and dance and sing and play the way she's asked us to. And so this is just so important in our lives in general, but I hope you can consider joining us for that 3-day retreat or the one-day water festival in Hot Springs, Montana. So these times are so intense, but know that like this shift that's coming, this is the week it all changes. Because when Mercury turns direct, we move into the kite. And it's about, yes, it's opposition. Yes, I'm frustrated. Yes, get out of my way. Yes, I've had enough. But that righteous anger is giving me the power to activate my field, to rise up and overcome and alchemize and celebrate and have fun with it and laugh. Not take it so seriously, So let this air trine kite take us away, right? Okay, so let's talk about the other really, really intense, beautiful thing that's happening. But on the 11th, we've got the full moon on the 9th, 10th, and then on the 11th, Mercury turning direct, and then at that point, we're gonna be feeling Venus coming into a conjunction with Jupiter. So this is that abundant cup of love. This is like, it's coming for you, right? It's like this magnetic pull of like expansion into the mother's love, because Jupiter is more and expansion and amplification. It's like a crystal. And so whatever you put it near, it's going to make more of it. And so it's in Cancer, and we're expanding into the nurturing truth of who we are, our true identity as humans. The only way out of this, And so then Venus is coming along for this conjunction after Venus just had this difficult square where she's fighting for her life. And yet, as that little girl, that little helpless girl that nobody will stand up for, she has the power to inform our future timeline. And she's finding it within her. And she will not take no for an answer. It is this way, the mother's way, the only way, and that's what moves us forward. So then we've got the full moon, Mercury direct, and then Venus, Jupiter, and it's this culmination of like, no, this is who we are, this is what's available, this is the abundance that's here, this is the truth. We are nurturing beings, and it can get us through anything if we come back into that connection to source, And we have to remember too that Jupiter is in exact trine to Black Moon Lilith, and so Jupiter's going to be, our Venus in conjunction with Jupiter will be in trine to Black Moon Lilith, and that's so beautiful, harmonizing this trine, because the sun will just be coming out of the square with Black Moon Lilith, Mercury moving into his final square with Black Moon Lilith. And so Venus, Jupiter trine Black Moon Lilith is like, yeah, we're just expanding into nurturing, and it's the nurturing that can heal. It's the nurturing that can forgive. It's the nurturing that can soothe the ego death and come back home into her arms and just feel good. And it's like we need that feel good to get over this hump of this constant drama and negativity. That's not the truth, she says. The energies have shifted. Stop, feel it, know it, love it, be with her, celebrate with her. The energies are shifting. It's lighter. It's beautiful. Don't let the gloom, doom, black pill, constant drama of this world bring down your energy. Of course, at the same time, we have to process our emotions and release, because I'll tell you what, these blooms of things are triggering a full set of emotions and feelings that you haven't been able to put together in one experience. Maybe that's the kite, bringing together these divergent parts of yourself, because it's almost like, well, in that situation I felt this, in this situation I felt this, but now this has been a way for it all to play out together, like the most nitty gritty, deep programmed belief systems and pain and just raw grief and regret and all of it. So it's almost like we need that perfect puzzle piece to bring it all together so we can zap it out of existence. Just erase it by matching. And so pay very close attention. I think that's the deal with the Mercury Sun conjunction. It's like, okay, downloads are coming, understanding is coming, and it'll be cool. I'm not sure when that is, but Mercury will go back and catch up with the Sun next month. And then we'll have a resolution of that. And so Venus, Jupiter on the 13th, and they come together at 14 degrees of Cancer, right in the middle. It's saying, hey, it's the middle way. It's mother's way. We got to expand. The feminine has to expand into mother, purify the feminine, purify the masculine, redevote ourselves, clean up the darkness, the dark lies, that have been the smear campaigns of lifetimes. Just clear that up all out of our psyche so we can walk forward in purity into this exciting times that lie ahead. And now Mercury turns direct on the 11th, and we talked about how Mercury's retrograding back to 4 degrees, and then Pluto's at 2 degrees Aquarius. So Mercury is opposite of Pluto 2 degrees out. They had their exact conjunction on the 30th of June. Excuse me, exact opposition on the 30th of June. And now they're coming into this opposition, but Mercury's not going quite back that far, to Pluto, to opposition. So it's like Mercury's going, yeah, we're not going to, we got to go forward now. Pluto, you've made it into Aquarius. I know you're retrograde, but you're not going back into Capricorn. And so we're going to move forward now. And Mercury says, with this direct motion and our permission, shine our light and clear up this darkness and get this dark stain mark that's been put on us as light worker healers. Take it off. Say, no, I'm not going to accept the attack. I'm not going to accept your conception of some negative with my positive of love and light. I know who I am now. Mom showed me. She loves me. She's holding me. I'm with her. She's with me, and we're going to bring every situation through our authority back to her love. And just don't mess with us, And it's just so beautiful because imagine the power growing with each of us individually, having to go up against these bullies, and then these bully busters, supernova souls coming together. So it would be so beautiful energetically or physically to see you, to be with you for that water festival retreat in September in Hot Springs, Montana. More information below. Thank you so much for your support in these intense and difficult times. I know everyone is struggling financially as we strive to claim back the abundance that's ours. It's coming back. And it's our inheritance. It's energy first, then physical. So just stick with it. Everything's going to be shifting really soon. But thank you so much for your support through these times. And there's a link for if you want to offer a donation for this ad-free space and the messages. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for being a part of the Supernova Soul Tribe and coming to every activation. It's just the most powerful information that Supernova Souls need in the moment of the new moon and the full moon. And you being there in your presence is a gift for all of us. And so thank you for your support that way. I've got these great courses that can be so much help in owning our field in our light body, the goddess activation, and owning your energetic field. So I also am offering a limited number of individual sessions. So there's more information about that below. And so thank you so much for your support and being here and being a supernova soul. I am just so blown away by the potential and the beauty and the love, the determination, the purity of soul. See, it's coming, it's like the cream's rising to the top, and we no longer, she says, you no longer need to waste your time. Now that you have the authority in your field for organic life and her agenda, mother's love, then you no longer have to waste any time navigating those external forces because we have the authority in our field. It's so beautiful. And to walk forward in this. It's like, okay, world, you do what you want, but you're going to come back to us and we'll show you, you know, and then, and this is just this incredible time of coming together because the kite, the top of the kite, we've got the grand air trine we talked about our new visionary leaders of the Aquarian age coming forward in order to move us into the Aquarian age. We've got Mars and Libra. We have to collaborate if we're going to do anything and work hard at it and be devoted, dedicated to collaboration. And then Uranus and Gemini saying, we're going to express what's in us now. The magic, the miracles. It's like we get to sing the song of the mother. And Uranus and Taurus was about gaining permission to come into our wealth and abundance energetically. Uranus moving into Gemini is like permission to share it with the world, to sing that song. Whatever's inside of you. The creative expression is how, in the new Renaissance, it's creative expression that moves society forward, right? So anything we do, we need to do it with fire. And that's the energy of the Goddess Activation course. It's really designed to activate this creative power with available in our own field, which we don't even know we have. It also works with the containment of the energies and really fun work with the different goddesses and coloring pages so you can meditate with them. So these things are all available as we stand at this crucial moment as supernova souls and we decide whether we're going to veer off the path at this late in the game. Is it possible for us, or are we going to go full throttle ahead and fully commit? Even though we don't know who we are and what it looks like, we're going to fully commit to who we are and whatever it might look like because we're walking with her. It's very uncomfortable, but clarity's coming, and it'll be such a shift with this Mercury turning direct and the kite coming forward. Now, Mercury will come out of shadow on the 25th of August, but not complete the third and final square with Black Moon Lilith, the final reveal of what dark lies have been hiding, eclipsing our light. That goes through the 28th. So we're not released from the Mercury retrograde drama until the 28th of August, at the very end of the month. But then we're going to have had such a shift through these energies and moving that we're going to, there's no way we're not going to feel like we're ready on some level to really move in new directions, have some clarity of how to move from this place. Remember that 2025 had all of 5 days with all planets direct. And so it's almost until next spring or the early months of 2026, when we have that direct motion come back, that we will be able to reap the reward of all the work we've done in 2025. And it's been intense. So thanks for sticking with us, supernova souls, and never giving up and being the awesome soul that you are and being willing to, against all odds, still hold on to that light so you can share it with us. What an amazing and incredible gift. And may you be showered with abundant blessings, a mother's love, the overflowing cup, the manna from heaven. If we believe it, we see it, we hear it, we receive it, and our life becomes one big miracle blessing the way it's meant to be. And we stand in this and we say it's ours now. And thank you for being a steward, a warrior for Earth. Now these stewards can come together and make some magic. So I can't wait to see what unfolds as we move into this full permission, this chapter of full permission, which is what's resolving, opening the doors, opening the gates. So the only thing holding us back after this chapter of astrology is our own fears. And we can take that opposition coming at us and be like, oh, thanks for the fuel. Fuel for the fire, the transformation, the healing, the power. And so let's stay close in touch and very, very powerful week. Next week is the Mercury turning direct, and then we'll be moving right in the full moon, moving right into that Jupiter-Venus conjunction. Make the most of this. Expanding into Mother's Dream. What if you came out of that week of astrology with a new level of a feeling that held, in the arms, the wings of Isis, the mother's love, just walking with you at all times. How could anyone attack you? You know? And so this is our transformation. And I'm so glad that we're here together. Thanks for making it through all you've made it through, being here and being you. Supernova, I love you so much. I look forward to seeing you at that activation. That's going to be Friday, August 8th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time for the Aquarius Full Moon. Incredibly powerful energies here. We're stepping into it. We're claiming our spiritual evolution of Earth and claiming Earth back for her children. So thanks for your devotion and dedication. May you be showered with her love and blessings as you walk through into your own abundance. So I love you so much, Supernova Souls. Thank you so much for your support and for being with me. And I look forward to seeing you soon at that activation, the next update, the retreat. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.